So obviously, we all saw the quote unquote train wreck that the TBS Championship match at All In ended up being. Mercedes Moné ended up retaining her TBS Championship against DMD Dr. Britt Baker in Wembley Stadium, London, England, in one of the worst matches I've seen in recent memory. From both Mercedes and Britt Baker. Britt Baker coming back from an injury. There's obvious, inevitable ring rust on the doctor herself. She needs to get back in the ring. She needs to get back into the routine and back into actually having consistent matches. Not even talking about good matches, just consistent matches in that ring. So therefore, her chasing or continue to chase Mercedes Moné and the TBS title, that's going to be put on hold. If it wasn't for the match quality dipping so low at All In, I would say Britt Baker has to keep chasing. Her character needs to keep chasing the current TBS champion. It's the best step forward. It's the only step forward for this feud, for this rivalry. But you just can't deny that Britt Baker is nowhere near the level she needs to be to even have a good match, especially a pay-per-view quality match. We need to get her on Rampage. We need to get her on Collision. We need to get her on Dynamite. Wrestling. Get her back in that habit. And then eventually her character, she is over enough. The fans love her. She has the pedigree. She has the accolades to come back and challenge a Mercedes Moné for that title. Just pair her up against... I'm blanking on a lot of names in the women's division because, again, with AEW, unfortunately, there's not that much structure in terms of who gets title shots and who gets wins. Have her face off against Sky Blue. Have her face off against Deonna Purrazzo, Thunder Rosa. All these women. Red Velvet, have her return. Trish Adora, I think, is one of the names of in the women's division. Again, Lady Frost. We keep having these nothing matches on Rampage and Dynamite and Collision that mean nothing, where you can actually start building contenders up. And eventually, once Britt Baker gets back into in-ring shape, where she can actually put on an entertaining contest in the middle of that ring, we can have her go back and start chasing Mercedes Moné and the TBS title. We can have her face off against Camille and beat her, and then that eventually is a stepping stone to getting back a shot at the CEO. But for now, Britt Baker needs to take a step back and just get back in line, back to the back of the line, and just have good matches. And in the meantime, Mercedes Moné, she has the TBS Championship mid-card title in the women's division. Line up challengers. Build up challengers for Mercedes Moné instead of just doing random matches all over the place. And then, somehow, some way, you pick a random opponent where she gets to defend her title. I don't know. At this point, let's bring it back. Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné for the TBS title. You got Chris Statlander. You got Saraya. You got so many women on in that division that aren't being used properly. Anna Jay, I believe, is in Japan. Sky Blue has always been very good in the middle of that ring. She needs to start getting shots at those titles. Julia Hart, bring her back. I don't know. The women's division, like I said, there is no structure in how women are determined number one contenders and get title shots. The only women in the past year and a half, 2 years pretty much, that has done anything to earn a shot, a true shot at a women's title, is Mariah May, and she's the Women's World Champion, and that worked wonders. So keep focusing on that. And like I said, you know me. I'm more focused on characters. I'm more focused on storytelling. And if Britt Baker and Mercedes Moné put on at least a watchable match at All In, I would say truck through it. Let's keep this feud going all the way into what? Full Gear at least. World's End. I don't know. The rest of the year. But what we saw at All In, I don't ever want to see again. And again, these are two of AEW's top names, not just in the women's division, but in the entire company. And this is also a problem of AEW's bloated roster, where not everyone can have consistent activity, consistent matches in terms of dates, because they gotta fulfill dates for everyone on that bloated roster. And sometimes you just have Mercedes Moné going out there week in, week out, and just doing promos. Again, Mercedes Moné, quote unquote, carried that match. She didn't put on that good of a match herself either. And to be fair, she couldn't. She's a heel. She's not out there to entertain the fans. She's not out there for the big spots and actually put on a good show. She's out there playing her role, defending her title, and slowing the babyface, in this case, Britt Baker, down. It's just, she wasn't really up to it. So with that said, what are your thoughts? Do you think AEW should continue this feud, this rivalry between Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker for the TBS title immediately? Or do you agree with me a little bit more in terms of, well, they should probably give Britt Baker some time and a few more matches to get back in ring shape, get rid of the ring rust, and then we can actually get the match that we were promised at All In. Leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions in the comment section below. I'm Alexis Carrillo. This has been Wrestling Talk, and I'll see you next time.